Hello, YouTube. This is Insane Monster, and we are here for part 6 of What If Deku Was an Eliatrope. Now then, I hope you will enjoy this, as I hope you enjoy all of my series and their parts. And thank you for the support and everything. With all that being said, hit it. Now then, we pick up as Izuku is following the directions he was given to get to Gran Torino's. His dad was surprised to hear that he wasn't going to partner up with him, but after hearing the name Gran Torino, he recognized it as All Might's mentor, and how he apparently was asked to train under him. After hearing that, he thought it would be a good opportunity. Different way of fight. Someone different to train him could be good. So he accepted it. As he found himself in front of Gran Torino's, which looked a bit run down. He was curious on if this was the right place, and used his ability to sense people's energy and such, finding Gran Torino alive but laying on the floor for some reason. Did he collapse? He is supposed to be pretty old, so he sees. As he opens up the door, seeing Gran Torino on the floor, he takes a close look, seeing ketchup and what looks like sausage links. As he bends down, asking if he's okay. Did you fall? He said, "Yes, I fell." As he gets up, brushing off the sauce off of his clothes, he says, "I just made a big plate of sausages and ketchup, and I may have slipped a bit." As he's wondering about this senile guy who just now plopped, just from standing, plopped onto the ground sitting down out of nowhere, he's questioning on if he's at the right place or if there's something wrong with this dude. He goes to pull out his phone, only to have Gran Torino go through his stuff, remarking that it seems like he has some decent gear. And that hat of yours, guess it's somewhat of a family thing, huh? I don't know much about Asasi, but that hat is by far an eye catcher, to say the least. Zuko's not sure if this guy's for real or not, but he's talking coherently now, so he just sighs, remarking, "It's a family thing, almost like a tradition." As Gran Torino smirks, stating, "Alright, newbie, then let's get started." As he starts zooming around, he latches onto the wall, stating that "I'm gonna put you through the ringer, newbie," with a big grin. But before they start, Izuku asked one moment he has to prepare something. As he pulls out a cloth, Gran Torino looks at it and asks, "What you need that for? Think you might gonna get hurt?" As he states, "No, I'm using it as a blindfold." Gran Torino steps down and has to ask, "Why is that?" As he explains his power in a bit of detail with the manipulation of energy, as well as being able to sense it. He normally does it with his, he normally just uses his eyes for it, but he doesn't have that much training sensing things around him, since everything has some form of a residual energy on it that he could be able to see, even if he's blindfolded. As Gran Torino smirks, he said, "That would be interesting." As he gets the blindfold on and begins to zoom around, beginning to talk. "From what I heard from Tosanori, you seem to have a good handle on the control of the flow of power. Makes sense since your own ability allows you to control energy. Not really a surprise there, but you don't have full control. I also heard that if you use too much, you end up burning yourself or your entire body out." As Izuku is trying to evade, he's getting some, but they're more or less not full on dodging, but he's getting grazed a bit here and there, mostly hit. He hasn't practiced a lot in terms of using this particular ability to get a 360 view of his area by sensing the energy on things. Still needs to work on that. As this continues, Gran Torino continues. "You also seem to be able to mold the energy into warp gates, essentially, as well as weaponry and protection, right?" As he creates a shield and tries to shield bash Gran Torino with a backhand motion, only to have Gran Torino use it as a springboard, sending his arm flying the other way from the jets, shooting the shield away. As Gran Torino states, "Not a bad idea, kid, but you'll have to do better." As he gets another hit in, Izuku tries to think and charges up One for All at a manageable level. He tries to think. He knows that One for All it seems to be boosting his inherent power as an eliatrope, but is that all it can do? As he's trying his best to dodge, he's getting more used to it a bit better, getting a more clear image of the area around him as well as Gran Torino's movement, though he's still freakishly fast all in all. And having him as a small target makes him harder to get. At most, he gets near misses with his training method. With this, he tries to think that maybe he should focus on defense a bit more. Trying to think, he creates another shield, trying to block him. He's blocking him a couple of times, only to be pushed back by a strong gust of Gran Torino's Quirk whenever he gets a good block in. When Gran Torino sees an opening, he goes for the head, only for Izuku to try to do something, resulting in a floating shield blocking Gran Torino. But this time, when he uses his jets, it doesn't move. As Gran Torino smirked, he states, "Interesting." Taking off the blindfold, he looks at the shield floating up, as well as the ones on both of his arms. As he states, "Okay, that's the first time for two things." Gran Torino stopped for a moment to get some clarification on what happened. Izuku explained, "Okay, I've never made more than 3 constructs, I guess, but even then, they never float in the air like this." As all the shields dissipated, Gran Torino smirked, stating, "It's one for all, kid. It's enhancing your abilities. From what I can tell, you go a simple fighter style using swords out of energy as well as shields in a more typical fashion. But when you said 2, I would have figured you would say 8, giving those floating orbs behind you. As he thought about that, yeah, each of those orbs could have been considered a construct to help him fly, but he doesn't know much about what those can do in general. As he just sighs, stating that he doesn't know a lot about it, so he isn't sure what their limit is. As Gran Torino just smirks, telling him, alright then here's your goal. Control those 3 shields in mid-air to block me. Also, put that blindfold back on. From what I can tell, you were getting more used to that sensing ability you said you had. Okay. As he puts the blindfold back on and they begin sparring again. Again and again. Gran Torino doing everything he can to speed up and even slow down at moments to trick Izuku into going at him, then accelerating. During this, something happened off in the area where Izuku's family lived, where we see a portal open up. 4 individuals land. As a voice, being the voice of Ferris the Dragon, states, Make sure to take care of yourselves. Head to Hasasi's. As the portal closes, we see 2 men and 2 women as they stretch out, as the 3 individuals of the group, being the 2 boys and 1 of the girls, begin to throw up a bit. A tall blonde guy wipes his mouth, stating, I always hate jumping through those portals. As the orange-haired woman states, ugh, how do you do that? Looking over at a green-haired girl with what appears to be an eliatrope hat, as she also has dark skin. She states, oh come on, Elely. It isn't like you've had to jump through those portals before. As an orange-haired kid stated, but you're not affected by them like we are. As the blonde states, yeah, Pin is right. Even if you're only half eliatrope, Liliane, sorry. As Flopin states, even if you're right, Liliane, you're still pretty much immune, so it's not the same. As the green-haired girl states, well, sorry, Flopin. It's just how it is. Now, we should get going to Hasasi's. I would like to meet the other half-breed that Fenris told us about, but he said we have to meet at Hasasi first. As Elely smirked, stating, let's get going. As they head over to Hasasi and Inko's place. Once they get there, Hasasi wide-eyed, surprised at it, stating, you? Fenris. I did. Very. He's fumbling on his words, stating, Ferris, why? As he invites them in, introducing them to Inko. As he introduces Liliane. Sorry if I mispronounced the name. Liliane, who is a uh, eliatrope slash Sedita hybrid, being Hugo and Amelia's daughter. As for the other three, the children of Percival and his wife, I forget her name at this moment, I do apologize. But he introduces them as Flopin, Pin, and Elely. As they do get to know each other and explain that they are here for Kilby. As Hasashi kind of flinches at this, thinking, not that guy. I know he's here, but the fact that he's here is annoying. As Lopin states, yeah, we know. We only heard stories about him, but it's surprising he was able to break out. I think Hugo said something about a crack in space that he was able to use here, right? As Hasashi states, yes, it happened by accident. Some things have been happening. Don't know all the details, but it's just how it is. And now we have to deal with them. Problem is, I can't track him. Normally, I would just follow his Wakfu in order to find him like a moth to the flame. As Lily, we're just gonna call her Lily at this point, stated, so wait, isn't he the only one of the 12? Well, him and his sister, aren't they the only ones of the 12 that retain their memories after reincarnating? As he sighs, stating, yes, which probably means he figured out something in a past life that he's kept to himself, which is apparently hiding his energy from others like us who would be able to use his energy as a way to track him. No, he's not going to be easy, and he's apparently been here for a while. No telling what he's been doing. As Eloise chimed in, stating, well, I'm not sure it matters, but there was a report of Toxina escaping through a portal. So, the saucy flinched, stating, that psycho? Oh, 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 this is much worse than I thought. This is so much worse. As he's trying to hold back his frustration at this situation. It was bad enough that Kilby was out, but now a venomous psychopath is theoretically with him. As that is not a good sign. As they continue to talk more casually now, we switch over to the villains. As Kilby is meeting up with the doctor, revealing some orbs as well as a ring that he brought that seems to have a face on it. He presents them to the doc as he states, I got the ones requested. These two will be quite useful. As for these three, pointing at other orbs, these are more low-level ones. I think they could be useful as test subjects for your Nomu. Though, since they're low-level, it might be best to give them to your lesser creation. Maybe be of use? as the doctor smirks, stating, as he pokes at one of the glass orbs, grabbing it, seeing a face roar at him. The doc smirks, stating, yes, I believe this will do nicely. As the ring stated, okay, look, this is a good deal and all, but what exactly are you giving us? As the orb next to the ring begins to speak as well. Yes, and what about that deal you screwed up for us last time? Kilby just scoffed, stating, I told you before, if you can control that child, that isn't on me. That's just on you. But that's why we're here. These bodies are highly enhanced. And not only that, but the mere fact is that they don't have a mind, meaning there isn't a will to fight against your control. Something I think you all would enjoy having possession over. Isn't that right? Homebridge, as the orb scoffs. You have a point. As the doc stated, oh, trust me, once we try these, let's see. You said you refer to them as lesser susu, correct? We'll try them on the low end Nomu as a bit of a test. If they prove to be quite helpful or powerful, then these higher level ones will be going straight for a more deserving specimen to fit the power that you describe them having. Kilby smirked as he rolls his mechanical wrist, stating, I knew you would take quite the interest in this. Also, what about Toxina? He smirks a bit, stating, she is interesting. Will definitely prove helpful. However, she has been a bit rambunctious, so the master is, let's say, educating her, as we see Toxina on the ground beaten up pretty badly. A loud, shadowy figure looming over her, stating, now then, miss, are you going to cooperate, or should I try something else? Part of my deal with Kilby is to not do something too drastic, but I have ways of making you cooperate, as well as ways of punishing disloyalty. Toxina, fear in her eyes, agreed. As he stated, wonderful. And let's get you patched up. As we see some of the other things that are going on, like with Bakugo and his agency that he picked to work with Best Jeanist, not going that well for him. Todoroki at his father's agency, and Ida with Manual. After some training, Izuku is able to fully control 3 modest sealed that he's able to conjure up, being able to control them as they float in mid-air. However, they do have a bit of a limited range. About 10 meters is the limit. And keep in mind, this is a 10-meter radius. So it has a good reach to it, but is still somewhat limited. So nothing long distance. As Gran Torino stops laughing a bit, he states, alright kid, let's get going. Confused, thinking that they were going to do more training, Gran Torino looked back on him, stating, "What are you talking about? We're going to take down some villains. You need some real experience." As they get on the train and get going. During all this with the doctor and such, the same thing happens with Stain and Shigaraki as in canon. That didn't really change in this instance. With that, Kilby comes back to see a stabbed Shigaraki, asking, "The hell happened to you?" As Shigaraki states, "It's nothing. I'll be dealing with it later." As a voice comes over the screen stating, "Yes, and this will prove to be a good testing ground for your gifts, Kilby." Marking, he states, "Is that so? Well, I am interested to see what low-level Susu could accomplish with those modified beings of yours. Though I will admit, they aren't pleasant to look at. I'm a little concerned of what they'll end up looking like once the Susu's attached to them. But if it gets us what we need, I'm fine with that." As the voice of All for One stated, "Fair enough. If this does go well, would you like something as a reward for your contribution?" Looking at his metal arm, he states, "Could you get me some kind of attachment for this? Maybe something hidden? Maybe a little useful? I don't know. I don't know much about about these prosthetics to know what I should be asking for with them, or what could be possible." The doctor's voice chimed in, stating, "Many things could be possible. I could take a look for you and see what you might like." Kilby smirked as Shigaraki calls Kurogiri to come along as they get going. As we see Izuku and Gran Torino on the train, things go sideways fast. The Susu Nomus are attacking. There's still the normal mid-grade Nomu, while there's also Susu enhanced low grades, which seem to be around a similar strength and power level as the mid-grade. Viewing through street cameras, the doctor laughs, beginning, "Oh, and these are supposed to be the weak ones? How fascinating." Looking back at the remaining orb and ring, smirking as he states, "Oh, I'll make sure to get you some fine host to take over." As the ring states, "Thank you. If I may, could you give me one that looks lovely?" Thinking it over, he states, "I could give you possibly one with shape-shifting abilities. That way you could choose how they look." Smirking, the ring states, "That would be excellent. Perhaps I should introduce myself. The name is Anathera." As the doctor smirks, stating, "It's good to meet you." With Umbridge just looking at the screen through his spear orb that he got stuck in by Kilby, seeing what the lesser versions of these Nomu creatures, when being controlled by weaker Susu, can do, he is finding this very interesting. We switch back over to Gran Torino and Izuku, whose train just got a hero slammed into it by a Nomu. who was then kicked out of the said train by Gran Torino, telling him to get back. As he looked at the odd colored creature, he sensed it, feeling that there's some kind of twisted energy in there. He's worried as he jumps out, trying to find everything, as he sees the city is on fire. Not to mention that it appears that other Nomu things are here, and at least two of them also have that same odd energy in them. As he looks around, he sees Manuel trying to put out the fire, as a fist from one of the Susu low-grade Nomu goes to attack, only to be stopped by Izuku's shields, as he shoves it back, firing an energy blast, sending it into a car. Manuel states, "Thanks, kid. Saved me." As he looks back, stating, "Wait, you're the hero Ida's interning with, right? Where is he?" Looking around, he states, "I don't know. He just disappeared on me." "What's with these things?" As one laughed, stating, this is so fun, this is so fun, so much to destroy." As Izuku gets ready in a stance, creating a sword and shield, this is when a portal opens with a Sasi falling through, blasting the Susu. As someone who looks like a dark-skinned woman with green hair and eliatrope hat drops down with a Sasi. The Sasi looks at the Izuku, asking if he's okay. He states, I'm fine, Dad. It's just, as another Nomu charges, only to be blasted by Elely. As he states, we still got these Susu to take care of. As Izuku remembers that term, something his dad told him. Demons that can take over items and living beings. As he put two and two together, thinking that this Kilby person he was told about probably took some Susu and shoved them in the Nomu. Bad. With the portal closed, Izuku felt a spike of power rushing towards the place. The camera moves as we see the three siblings rushing over. Flopin stating, "Come on, we gotta hurry." As he looks back, stating, we could have just gone through the portal. With Pin stating, "And throw up, leaving ourselves vulnerable to get hit by those Susu things. Yeah, no." Eloise stating, "Yeah, not looking forward to ever doing that again." As Flopin sighs, remarking, "Fine," as he draws the bow he pulls out of his pocket out, revealing a full bow as he draws it back, throwing 3 magic arrows being shot into the air. As they go into the air, they begin to create storm clouds, raining in the areas that are on fire. As Sasaki states, "Okay, looks like they're almost here. Man, those kids are fast." As Izuku just remembered Ida, he ran off. Sasaki was about to say something, but saw his face, worried and in distress. Something has to be wrong. As he just lets it go for now, as he has to hurry up and take care of these Susu things. This being where an Endeavor, Flopin, Elely, and Pin come in. As Sasaki tells Lily to help him put out the fires while while those three deal with the Susus. And as they look over, seeing Endeavor taking care of the larger one pretty good. Flopin looks around, seeing that there's one missing, and goes off the where he can sense the Susu's energy. As Eloise pulls out a sword and Pin gets his gauntlets ready. And they begin fighting. Eloise chopping off the flying one's wings real quick, stating, "Sorry, can't have you airborne." As Pin punches one into the ground, embedding the skull into the head. Noticing that he crushed the brain of this thing that they took over. Since it's a corpse now, it's harder to take over, and they separate. As he grabs the little Susu, Pin states, "Hey sis, these are just weak ones. But it looks like they got themselves some strong hosts. How are they?" Not understanding that Nomus have no real will. Elely states, "Doesn't matter, but given from these things, not sure we can call them alive," so as he cuts the head off of the one C was fighting. With Flopin finding the one Gran Torino was up against and helping him out by firing some ice arrows into the feet to hold it still, as Gran Torino strikes it in the head, followed up by an electrical arrow into the skull. As each of them collect the Susu, they put them in glass orbs that have become pretty normal to contain rogue Susu in as a countermeasure ever since that whole invasion thing happened with them. As they begin getting angry. As the doctor sees this, stating, who are these?" Toxina takes a look at the news broadcast at the bar, stating, "Those damn kids." He'll be looking at her, wanting an explanation as he explains who and what they are. Angered by this, Kilby states, "You go." As Izuku is able to pick up Ida's energy, he hurries and goes over to where it is, seeing that Ida's about to be stabbed. He hurries up and creates a shield, blitzing towards as he sends the shield forward ahead of him to block the sword. With that, he grabs hold of Ida and jumps back. Stain looks at him, stating, "Not bad, kid. But," as he points his sword towards him, "that false hero has to die. Leave now and you may live longer. After all, this isn't your concern." As Ida begins to state, "Why are you here?" "I came here to avenge my brother. It has nothing to do with you." As Izuku grips onto Ida tightly and looks at Stain, he states, "Look, you two. It's pretty simple. Getting involved when you don't have to is what a hero does." As Stain gets a smirk on his face, Izuku sees native, and he can't move. Putting down Ida, he asks him if he can move. Ida states, "No. Like, a moment after he cut me, I didn't move. I still can't." as he's being wary now, creating his 3 shields and charging up one for all. Stain looks at him, smirking, stating, "You're quite interesting, kid, huh?" And the way you said that quote, I believe you're worth keeping alive. But if you're gonna interfere, might as well make incapacitate you while I get the job done. Glitching for Izuku, he goes with a wide swing of his sword, only to be blocked by one of the shields. Then tries to throw a knife, which is blocked by one of the other shields. Jumping into a portal, he appears above Stain as the third shield disappears and he creates a sword, slamming it down on top of Stain's sword as he spins around to block Izuku's attack, causing Stain's sword to shatter as the 2 remaining shields fly over to cover Native and Ida in a dome-like structure. And Stain laughs, stating, "How interesting, interesting! Ah, kid. You were using yourself as a decoy to draw my attention away from my targets, while you put those barrier things over them, didn't you?" Izuku just looking at him with a stern look. Stain just couldn't help but smirk. "You only proved my point, kid. You are worth keeping around, definite." As he begins to attack again, using smaller knives, trying to strike, focusing the shield domes to protect Native and Ida so Stain can't go after him, only leaves him with 1 combat construct to work with. Can't make any more than 3 at the moment. He can only make 8 with those spears since they don't do anything combat-wise, besides allowing him to straight fly. As he does this, he uses his portals to move around, striking Stain at irregular angles, taking a page from Gran Torino from all those hits he got from him. Combining the portals with Gran Torino's movements, he does get a good bit of hits in. As he is also using his energy sensing to get a better sense of where Stain's blades are, and whenever he throws them, he's able to dodge them pretty easily. As he states, Gran Torino was way harder to dodge. As Stain blitzes towards him with combat knives, going to slash him, luckily Izuku was able to drop himself into a portal and then above. Stain went to throw one of the knives, only for him to open up another portal as the knife went in, but came out through a small portal going into Stain's leg. In pain, Stain looks down, stating, "Damn it!" As he falls, Izuku hurries up and creates a portal where he'll be falling. As he goes through, he falls onto some garbage that's in the alley where they're fighting nearby. As he now feels sick and vomits. A bit light-headed now, Izuku blitzes towards him, punching him in the head, knocking him out. Sighing, breathing heavily, he states, "Okay, incapacitated." As Ida just gets up, since Stain's knocked out, his quirks release, native as well. Native goes and gets some rope as Ida asks him why. Izuku looks at him, stating, "Isn't it obvious? I already knew you were hurting, and I had a feeling you would do something crazy. Though I didn't think you would just run off while the city was attacked to go chase down the serial killer. But I understand why you did it. May not agree that much, but I can somewhat understand that you wanted to get payback for your brother that he hurt." Ida bowed, apologizing. Izuku smirked, stating, "It's fine." As they collected Stain and began to leave, we just see that they come out of the alley with Stain as Gran Torino kicks him, since he wasn't really paying that much attention, so we didn't see it coming, stating, "I told you to stay on the train!" Hearing the yelling from Gran Torino, Izuku got a big scolding as Hisashi, Lee, Pin, Elely, and Flopin see this from a distance, asking if that's his kid. Hisashi smirks, stating, "Yeah," as they see that they got Stain. With this, Stain pounces up using a hidden blade he had in his wrist bandages to cut open as he waved his knives, yelling the same speech as in canon, getting recorded by a street camera, which the doctor was already using to watch and record everything for future data, and figured this video could be useful. Only to find that he passed out. The concussion Izuku gave him was pretty bad. As he gets detained, and everybody who got injured is getting settled, the fires are out, and the Nomu corpses are being, well, recovered, as well as examined. As for the Sutsu, well, they're being put in a item bag that Lily has. With that and everything checked out, Izuku is confronted by the police chief, who, on the record, states that it will be Hisashi and Endeavor who will get the credit for taking Stain. However, unofficially, thanks, kid. I'm sure you're gonna do great work. After that, Hisashi picked them up and they were going home. Hisashi had to ask, "So, son, I know you could have taken care of him a bit easier, so what kind of situation were you in?" As he explains, "Huh, so you had to divide your attention a bit, and that limit what you could do. Not to mention, in a small area, not a good idea to be firing blasts and potentially have building rubble fall on top of you and the people you're protecting, right?" As Izuku kind of laughs, stating, "Yeah, kind of." As he took a look at his phone, finding some missed calls from Momo, saying, "Ah." As Hisashi sees this, stating, as he pats his son on the shoulder, "Good luck." "Wait, what? Hey!" As he gets an earful from Momo, and he explains that he's fine and he helped take care of the situation. That everything is okay, and that he's okay. As Momo's just huffing, stating, you always find a way to get into trouble, you know that? Well, not always. As Momo chuckles a bit, stating, I'm glad you're safe. Once Izuku stated, yeah, thanks. Once he got home, he got a proper introduction to Lily. Sorry. Liliane, who is the daughter of Hugo and. Oh, sorry. Who is the daughter of Hugo and the three siblings. Sorry, it's hard to remember some of the names. It's been a while since I've watched the series. But he introduces them, as well as shows the Susu that they were able to extract from the Nomu corpses. As now they have to get these someplace secure. As they do mingle a bit, they realize that their current living conditions aren't going to be large enough. Hisashi is one of the more higher ranked heroes, but he lives in an apartment complex due to multiple reasons. For one, it's harder for paparazzi to get there in order because he doesn't have a lawn for them to crowd. Second, if they try to do something in the front of his apartment building, they're gonna get called by the neighbors and have the police come after them. So there is that. But given their current situation, they might have to move. Stating that it shouldn't really be that hard. They've been saving up a lot of money from Hisashi's hero work, which they do relatively quickly. I mean, when you can make portals, moving, well, you know, the process of moving is actually pretty helpful. As that's taken up in only about 2 or 3 days, and Hisashi, given his reputation, is able, and the funds he has, is able to get a house relatively easily, allowing them to each have a room, given that it's a pretty decent house, not that far from where they lived before, but a bit closer to UA. As Hisashi had to finalize some paperwork that Ferris ended up helping him, well, forge a bit in concern of Flopin, Elely, Pin, and Lily as foreign heroes who are, well, being Hisashi's sidekicks for the time being. Which they're actually pretty happy, though he does explain that they have to capture the villains a lot. They have to capture the villains and try not to destroy everything. Looking at Eloise and Pin, who just state, hey, what's that look for? As Flopin just states, it's because you two are very destructive yap brains. As Eloise states, and proud of it! And this is where Izuku just leaves the room. He's not dealing with this right now. He's got to unpack. As this will be ending this part of the What If, I do hope you have enjoyed. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell, and I'll see you guys later.